Next up, we have color 4, which is the perspective of want, and they view the world through seeing what's lacking, driven by desire and pursuing what excites, seeing what is necessary, and helping people focus on what is necessary and pursuing what lights you up. On the flip side, you have the transference or the distraction of survival, which is color 1, because 1 and 4 have that relationship. So when perspective of want flips into the transference or distraction of survival, they focus on scarcity and survival, losing sight of desires, fears about personal survival instead of other people in the community.
Yeah, so there's so much stuff going on as it relates to this particular aspect. This want is so important. Want can basically distract and transfer into almost all the other colors, but it primarily does into the survival because the want thinks it doesn't have what it needs to survive. Because if it flails about from the not self and constantly keeps looking into its own survival, it doesn't see what's needed. The want is there. Like if you're looking at the world with want, and it's you're seeing the things that people don't have. You're seeing the things that would be good for you to want. You're seeing the things that are stupid to want, because there's plenty of things that are stupid to want. It's the transpersonal version, because it's stepped into the fourth line now, of being something worth externalizing. This is where the fourth line externalizes. This is where the fourth line externalizes and allows to tell the other people what they may want. It allows to start the sharing and the empowering and the externalizing process of what do we want? Not, oh my God, I'm afraid because I don't have. And so now I think I want what I don't have. It's just, where are we headed in virtue of what is it do we want? It's actually an existential question. And it's something that shows up that externalizes the step before universalizing. It's meant to be spoken out into the world. Want is meant to be talked about. And it's just about things. It's about things you see, aspects. We want people to have certain traits. We want people to have certain courtesies. We want to have certain materials. We want to have ink in our printer. We want. And it is very material in its nature and partly, but it's also got its own spiritual sense of awe, like the picture. I want pizza. Yeah, I love that picture. I want pizza too. I'm going to have pizza when this is over now I think of it. And so with all that in mind, as it transfers into survival accidentally, it becomes afraid. And now it can't think straight. Now the cognition isn't working. Now it can't see clearly. Now, if it's a right-facing arrow, the confusion is insane. If it's a left-facing arrow, the anxiety is insane, because they're anxious about what they strategically know they think they want, but they can't have because they're too afraid. They're too afraid to recognize that they must not want it if they're living in fear of it. This is strictly a want that is shared through externalization to the other, and it's talked about. So if your wants are never talked about at all, then you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. They should sort of come out. So Leah, what's your husband's name? Greg, just share what you want. Share what you want. And Leah, don't be afraid that you don't have it. And then Greg, don't concern yourself with being afraid of it, other than to look at what survival things and aspects might there be to your want, but then go right back to the want itself. And then Leah, don't concern yourself so much with what you want. You're holding down the whole thing as it relates to all the things, the aspects and the investigation that's going to go into these things. The only problem that ever come up is if the wants are so different. You know, I want to go to the moon. I want to join Elon Musk going to Mars next year. Well, you know, just so you know, Greg, I don't think Leah wants that. Okay. So she's got a little concern about that. And I don't think she'll be transferring into that anytime soon. But short of that, hopefully that helped.
Here we have the left arrow, which is master, and they thrive by mastering skills or pursuits aligned with their desires. And the right arrow is the novice or the student, and they thrive by exploring new passions without the pressure to perfect.
This is the teacher student, the master novice, where the leader and the follower is less than fully personal to each other because they're both personal destiny lines, lower trigram. The fourth line, left angle process is very clear that there's stuff on the other side. And the stuff on the other side is what the teacher and the student or the master and the novice are doing. You know, master, how will I find out what this I Ching hexagram is in my body? And the master says to the student, you'll have to find out. I'll be with you on your journey. And for that, the student loves the master. And there's love there. There's the leader follower doesn't have full love. There's respect, potentially, and all that. But the student loves his teacher. I was taught piano. I loved my piano teacher. I mean, but all of them, actually, now that I think of it, there's a love there. It's incredible. So this is about externalizing that love. We're always moving towards love, beauty, and direction, right? The Sphinx is empowered by the vessel empowers the movement, the Sphinx is the movement, and it's the same thing here. So views this world seeing for what's lacking, the master teaches. Seeing this world through what's learning, the novice learns. And seeing the world through the combination of these two things, we come to know stuff. So much so that we figured out AI. I mean, now we don't even need to know anything. We just ask a computer. It's like Star Trek, computer, you know, that's crazy. So that's what this is. This move. So if you're a right-facing arrow, you start out as the master of certain things. And the thing is, at a younger age, that might be a little bit difficult if you think you're supposed to be mastery. This one is a little bit difficult. Part of the reason why fourth colors on the personality side can transfer to all the other colors, especially they can, and in the personality they specifically do, with a special emphasis on the primary transference.
I've heard about this. Explain more about why color 4 transfers into everything.
Because color 4 becomes the expression of what all the first 3 were, and we spent so much time on the first 300,000 years or more that by the time we finally got our first color 4, it was like a kid in a candy store, and this became the fire hose through which everything went. It's the fire hose. That's why it has to close its eyes. The fourth tone says, shut up, don't even look at it. You have inner vision and meditation, literally. And the want of this fourth view, just like the need of the fourth color desire, when we get to it next week, it's got this whole capacity to share this externalization through a master novice relationship. We're always moving towards one, but these things even transfer to each other, because as a younger man or woman, what are we the master of? Yet if you've got a right-facing arrow, you're gonna, like I do, I move from mastery into noviceness, right? This is because it doesn't make sense in this particular way, but it's only the fourth line that doesn't. Just like the fourth line of 54, the alpha and omega, the only line in the whole 384 that's any different than what's in the I Ching. Just like what the fourth line does as it relates to this inner binary when we're dealing with it, and this is the energetic. The fourth line is the externalizing of the energetic. The third line's the bumping into it. It's the practical part. Bump into it. Let's find out what works. Let's find out what doesn't work. The fourth line is stuck with whatever works or doesn't work. I'm externalizing it, and I'm wicked fixed on this thing.
Huh.
Yeah, it transfers towards, oh, I'm fixed on too much, so I'm personal. You know what? I'm fixed on a lot. I'm going to have to fix this and fix that. You know what? I'm not fixed on enough stuff. I'm a little afraid. I better come up with some stuff. I have needs. I have wants. I have desires. I need to lead. I don't need to lead. It transfers through all of them. But its primary transference is to fear, and that's why fourth lines get a little bit confusing. It's the very 100 and some odd thousand years we had 3 tones, and that's it. So when we opened up the fourth, all the rest of the 4s in the body graph had a little party, and they're still a little drunk from it. And that's a funny way to put it, because we're still in a 7-centered hangover from trying to figure out our old way. And want simply says, I can transfer to anything. I primarily transfer through to the survival aspect of what do I really want for my survival, and then what do I want to externalize for the rest of the survival. And then it says we need to teach this. Fourth lines are the teachers anyways. We already know that. The 11-4 and the 12-4, the great teaching gates through the prophet and the teacher. The prophet and the teacher. 12 prophet, 4, 12-4, and 11-4 the teacher. The fourth line of 45, that must teach the tribe. It teaches and it externalizes that teaching after it was done doing what the first line demands, which is canvassing. So canvassing is studying, and the fourth line's externalizing is making sure everyone knows, spitting it out there into your giant network as the king and the queen of the whole tribe. So want is wicked important, and it can get confusing. And if you guys, Leah and Greg, have this as a transference, just recognize I pointed out why it's so challenging, or more aspects of that. So don't try to pin it down. Don't try to work with it. Try to recognize it when there's conflict, because there's no real conflict. You guys don't want to have to care about any of this, neither one of you. You don't, when it's all done, you ever notice you don't care. You're like, oh my God, what did I even care that much? I can't even remember if I did care that much. Is sort of how most things end.